What is that sound? Are they landing a plane? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby if you don't already know me, and I love to talk all things personal finance, organization, and lifestyle here on this channel. I am so excited for this video. This is an exciting one, and I've been kind of itching to do a finance video. I haven't done a finance video in a couple of videos, and I am ready to do one. I love talking finances, so if you're interested in that, then definitely subscribe. I have a lot of other financially related videos. I dive heavily into my budgets every single month, so if you want to see those, I will link it in the cards up here. I do monthly resets where I go through my budget and everything I spent my money on, so if you're nosy like I am, definitely check that out. I also sell a budget spreadsheet that I will link down below. I sell it on Etsy, so if you are interested in a budget spreadsheet, then definitely check that out. But today we are going to be diving into my net worth. So I was a little hesitant to do this video just because I don't want to come across as, like bragging or I don't know. Yeah, I know that everyone's in a different situation, and I am very aware that my situation is one of privilege, and I've had a lot of helping hands along my way, so I don't want anyone to compare themselves to me and feel bad about themselves. So if that is something that you tend to do, if you tend to see things like this and rather than feel inspired, if you feel any sort of negative feelings towards yourself, then maybe this isn't the video for you. I don't want you to use this as a method of comparing yourself and beating yourself up. But if it is maybe inspirational to you, or if you are just curious on how much money people have at different ages, like I am, then I hope that this video is entertaining. Secondly, if you have not watched my financial journey, I think that that is a great video as a little background on me and where I come from and the way I see money, the way that I have handled money my whole life. So I will definitely link that down below as well. I just wanted to mention that I do have an inheritance from my grandma passing away incredibly young, and that is invested, and I won't be including that in this video just because I don't think it's that relevant. I didn't save that money, I didn't work for that money, so I just don't think it's that helpful, and that kind of scares me to put money on the internet that I didn't necessarily earn. It's just money that was gifted to me. I just don't think it's that relevant to you guys or my story or how I work and save and invest my own money. I will only be sharing numbers of money that I've saved and invested myself over my 5-year career. If you are not aware, I am a mechanical engineer. Well, I graduated from mechanical engineering. I currently work in construction, more of like a structural engineering role. And I also do obviously YouTube on the side, and I sell some stuff on Etsy as well on the side. I have been in my career for a little over 5 years, and I have been saving and investing since I started. I have always saved and invested on my journey while I had a job, but there have been times where I carried credit card balances and I would have to heavily tap into my savings to pay off my credit cards. And I was also paying interest on those cards because I didn't want to tap into my savings. So I would pay interest and not touch my savings and carry a credit card balance. And in the last 2-3-ish years, I have decided to stop doing that. If I overspend on my credit card, then that money comes from my savings. I automatically pay off my credit card every single month, and I never pay interest. Well, I don't want to pay a bank money. I want to benefit from those credit cards. That is kind of my money background for this video. So let's dive in. I'm super excited. First things first, let's talk liabilities. I luckily have no liabilities. I have no debt. I have no student debt. I have no car payment. I have nothing. So I owe interest payments, debt payments to absolutely no one, and that has been a huge lifesaver. I think that this is the best position you could possibly put yourself in your 20s. If I did have student debt, I think that that's fine, but I think the worst you can do in your 20s is sign up for a car, for example, like a car payment that I can't afford. So basically, if I had a car payment on top of everything that I'm currently spending my money on, I wouldn't be able to save and invest as much as I do. And I think that that is just literally the difference. I think people just get kind of excited, sign up for a car that they can't really afford, not understanding that they can just stretch out the months of your car loan to make it fit in your budget, and then you're paying so much interest over like 8 or 9 years. It's crazy. Every dollar that I don't spend on day-to-day expenses goes into savings and investments, and that is kind of how I've built my wealth over the last 5 years. Assets, I have a car. It is currently worth I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not an expert on how to rank car values based off of kilometers. So when I look online, most of the cars of the same make and year are about 22 to 23,000, but they have a lot less kilometers. So I ranged my car in the like $16,000 to $18,000 ballpark, around there. For this video, I will put it at the bottom of that, about $16,000. I will say my car is worth. I don't have a mortgage or a house or anything like that. No bougie luxury items, no expensive jewelry. And I'll put a little tally on the screen so you can see how we're moving along. Let's dive into my cash reserves right now. I currently have $26,304 in my savings. This is both my sinking fund and my emergency fund. And this is a pretty comfortable number for me. I think I kind of want it to sit around 30, but I think beyond that, it would just be too much cash in a cash account, and I would like to start investing it rather than just keeping it in a high interest account. So even when high yield savings accounts have a really high return, I still would prefer to invest. But because I like to have sinking funds for things that I'm regularly spending my money on, expensive things like big trips to Europe and things like that, I do like to have a good amount of cash. So yeah, I do have $26,304 currently sitting in my 5% cash account. Next up is the TFSA. So if I haven't mentioned it, I am Canadian. Americans have very similar investing accounts as we do. We just call them something different. So tax-free savings account, basically this account means that any gains in this account are not taxed. So in my tax-free savings account, I currently have two accounts. I have a managed account, which is with Wealthsimple, where their robo-advisor automatically invests my money for me and it chooses the stocks. I have no control over what that money is invested in, but I give it a ratio of how much equities versus fixed income I want to put my money into, and then they buy everything for me. So for that account, I currently have $22,208. I also have a TFSA self-driven account. So this is where I would buy the stocks, the ETFs, all the indexes. I would buy that personally. So in this account, I have $1,140. So basically what's happened with my TFSA is I was putting in my own money for a very long time into the managed account, which is the robo-advisor account with Wealthsimple. And just in 2024, I have decided to switch over to a self-driven account just to lower my fees that I'm paying. So I am buying stocks and ETFs and everything like that in that account myself. So that's why there's a lower balance in that new account. I also, because I have an inheritance that is in a non-registered account, it's mainly in a full tax everything account. Whenever the next calendar year comes up and I have more contribution room to my TFSA, I usually do a big lump sum deposit into a TFSA from my inheritance, and then the remainder I will do paycheck by paycheck so that I'm getting a little bit of continuous investing in that TFSA, but then a good majority of it comes from my inheritance. But I completely separate these. So this is entirely my money that I have invested in the TFSAs. But I will say that my TFSAs are always maxed out. Every single year I max them out. And that is my first priority with my TFSA. Okay, let's move on to the FHSA. So this is a new account here in Canada. It's a first home savings account. And this account is like a double whammy for tax advantage. You basically don't have to pay tax on your gains, and it also reduces your annual salary. So you get taxed less. So this FHSA has been open for 2 years. So the max amount that you can have in this account is $16,000, $8,000 per calendar year. And I currently have $14,529 in this account. So similarly to the TFSA, what I do is I do a big lump sum deposit at the beginning of the year, and then I figure out a number that I want to contribute every single paycheck so that I have more time where my money is invested. At the beginning of the year is a big lump sum deposit, and then over the course of the year, I will do smaller deposits every single paycheck. So I think currently I am depositing $150 per paycheck, and that should get me to that full $16,000 by the end of 2024. Let's do my RRSP. So in my managed retirement account, so this is the same thing with Wealthsimple. It is a robo-advisor account. They invest my money for me, and I have been investing in this for the whole time I've been working. And I also, as an employee, do not have retirement match or employer match. So I have no help with my retirement at all. And that is a big driver for me to invest as heavily as I do. I don't have any help and I am solely responsible for my own retirement. Currently in my managed account, I have $2,723, which is very good. I'm very, very proud of that number in that retirement account. And in my retirement self-driven account in January of 2024, I decided to start investing myself in a self-driven account versus in the robo-advisor account. So this account is basically just this year alone, I have $15,921. All right, and then moving on to my Wealthsimple managed self-driven account. So this is an account that is not tax advantaged at all. I basically got confused one year and thought that everything was maxed out and that I should just start investing in a self-driven account, not realizing I could do it into my retirement instead. So I have $2,977 in this account, and that is the managed robo-advisor. I have no control over what that is invested in. It is just automatically invested for me. In my crypto account, I currently have $4,277. So that is my crypto exposure. I have a little bit more crypto exposure because I buy a little bit of Bitcoin in my retirement account under the Fidelity Bitcoin ticker. But for the most part, this is like the chunk of my crypto, and yeah, it's up a lot right now. So I think the actual amount of money that I put in is not that much. This is just like a 50% up kind of category. $4,200 in my crypto account. All right, so I think for total investing accounts plus my savings comes to $148,079 in my Wealthsimple account. So I am right on the cusp of being at 150. And then if you include my car, that comes to $165,079. So that is my current net worth. And that is kind of a crazy number. I only last year hit $100,000. So it is kind of shocking to me that I've been able to get to this number as quickly, but it is so true. The whole, your first 100,000 is the hardest. I really found that the first, from like, I think hitting 20,000 was like, okay, like I'm proud of myself, but I felt like I should have that much for how long I had been working. And then from like 20 to like 80,000 was just a long haul, and it felt like it wasn't moving. And every time I would sit down and try to figure out how much money I could contribute to these accounts and how long it would take me to get to 100,000, it would always be like 3-4 years or something crazy. And it's just like, as that money has time to compound in the market, as you get raises naturally through your job, it just gets so much easier. And then once you hit that 100,000, it just feels like it catapults from there. It is not some lie they're selling to you. It is really, really true. So I highly advise every single person to try their best to get that first $100,000, and it is just going to feel so much easier from there. You're just going to feel so much more secure with your money. And yeah, this is a huge milestone for me, and I can't wait to look back a year from now to see where I'm at. That's a big reason why I wanted to do this video, was just to have a milestone to look back on, because I don't actually track my net worth any other way. I track like how much is in each account, but I don't really like add everything together. So that's really cool that I am already at this huge milestone. And basically, what's next? I do not have any strong desires to buy real estate anytime soon. I will eventually someday. I think we thought it might be sooner than later, but I think the only reason I would buy real estate in the near future is if our landlord was to kick us out, if he was selling this apartment or something. I think because a mortgage would be the same price as renting, so we would probably consider buying in that case. But as of right now, I really like the flexibility of being able to move around. I like that the little things that I dislike about this apartment, I can kind of, say, oh, we'll get apartment better next time. Like, I just can't imagine like finding an apartment, doing a walkthrough for 10 minutes, and then having to sign on and buy it without really having the time to absorb, is this going to be the right space for me? So all that, I do not think that I will buy real estate, and I really just want to keep investing in the market and allowing my money to compound over time. All of my accounts right now are for the long haul. I have a few accounts that I would probably use to buy a house using a down payment, but I think it would be from my inheritance. So none of this money that I talked about today will be used anytime soon. I am hoping to just let it sit, let it ride, and I hope that it compounds an insane amount. And that is the current goal. I have no target retirement date. I have no fire set plan. I think a lot of people who are investing heavily are going for the whole fire thing. I think that around 55 would be a great time to retire, but I don't need to retire around that time. So I'm just basically investing for independence and for freedom, and so that maybe one day I can choose exactly what I want to do, no matter how much money I get paid for it. So that's my current goal. And yeah, I hope that this was fun and interesting, perhaps gave you a little bit of inspiration to hit your first $100,000 and to see your net worth grow. And I highly recommend everyone track this. I think it's a great way to just make sure you're making progress in the right direction, especially when you're starting with negatives. If you have a bunch of debt versus assets and investments, I think this is a great metric just to see where you're at, because sometimes money and debts go into different directions. Sometimes if you're paying debts off while investing, it can feel like you're negative, but who knows, like maybe over time you're actually making more progress than you think you are. So I highly recommend everyone try just sitting down and figuring out what these numbers are for yourself. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for the continued support. I feel so grateful every single day for how much we're growing as a community and the lovely, just super sweet comments that I'm getting from all of you. And I love getting to know you guys all a little bit better. So leave me a comment if you feel that you are okay to do so. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.